Like me and my brother, we was establishing our own LLC, and we was going to develop our own water brand and use the source. And I realized, like, I'm telling my brother, like, man, I don't think I got time to wait for all that. Like, I'm about to go ahead and jump off with the water, that live alkaline water, as is, ready to go. So I ended up having, you know, just enough money. Matter of fact, it was some outstanding debts that I had to, like, yo, I need something. And that gave me enough money to get through a couple more weeks, get some gas money to go out to the land. And I'm in such a mentality that I'm spending some of my last money I got to go to the land, to work for free. They had like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 gallon orders, and I just went out there to contribute however I could. I ain't asked what I'm getting, how much you paying me, what I'm getting. No, I just went out there to contribute and be of value and build relationship. I did that 2 days that week. Next thing I know, they gave me 20 free gallons just to run with. And I'm thinking I got something at the time. So I'm on the way home with these 20 gallons, not knowing what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna sell it. And thank God, you know, they had a couple clips online where it was one news coverage saying it was the first black-owned water company to get into a Walmart. That was big.
Good people, what's up, what's good? Blessed be host Caleb Smith, man. Today we got somebody very special in the building, man. He's a solid dude, solid individual. He's changing the game for us. And man, we have not just water, we have quality. We have live alkaline water. S.O.U.L Society, live alkaline water. Just an amazing brand. Just seeing black power, black independence. Young dude, killing it, man. Good brother King. How you feeling, my man?
Man, I'm amazing. Look, blessed, black, and highly favored.
Yes, sir. That's what I like to hear.
I'm honored to be in the place to be with y'all, being able to sit down and, you know, just being able to contribute whatever experience, knowledge, and, you know, wealth of information we can, you know, put in front of the people.
Let's do it, brother. Live alkaline. It's amazing. The bottles, the messaging, the brand, everything.
For
you know,
sure.
seeing you, farming, being on the soil,
Facts.
working out, being with the people, always at events, always here in Atlanta, the Carolinas. Bro, how did this whole vision just start for you? How'd that start? Live alkaline.
Yeah. So, you know, that's like a whole trilogy movie, book series of a question for real. But just to give you like a few of the highlights, I come from like a close-knit, real close-knit, family-oriented family. We kind of operated like a village in a way, you know, where we was always about, you know, leaning and depending on each other and making sure that, you know, we operate in that wealth and that abundance because the way that we come together and the unity that we have when we come together on any level is going to be undeniable power. So that's like the cornerstone. My grandma and granddad were very instrumental in the community, and they come from their parents and grandparents that put them into a community mentality. So naturally, I feel like I'm a servant of the people just because I grew up around people that were about service. And so to fast forward, when I was trying to come into my own and figure out who I was and what my contribution to this world, to my family, to my community was gonna be, I was going through a depression because I ain't really see any worth of value of myself. So like coming out of high school, going into college, you know, we all trying to carve out our pathway and figure out what it is that we here to do.
Facts.
And initially I didn't see any worth of value of myself. I mean, I was one of those typical ones that felt like I could be a rapper or an athlete. And as I got to a point of realizing that wasn't necessarily going to be the breadwinner for me, I ain't see what else I had to contribute, you feel me? And initially I went to A&T.
Okay.
Mind you, I'm just going to college just because they said so. Somebody said you go to college, you gonna get a good job, good benefits, so on and so forth, and be able to secure this typical American dream. And another part of that depression was me being arrested a couple times early on. So my junior year in high school, we used to have these hotel parties. And this one particular night, there was some issues with the crosstown rivals or whatever. And long story short, a fight had broke out. So after the fight, of course, the police coming. And me and one of my partners, we in the car that we waiting to leave in for the driver, nowhere to be found. So after like 15, 20 minutes, we go back into the hotel room. And we looking for him. We don't see him in there. We sit down on the bed. I swear it was 60 seconds. And the 3 cops come in. One standing by the door, 2 searching the room. They find a bag of weed on the other side of the room. And mind you, I'm young, naive, 16, 17 at the time.
Wow.
Don't know any better. I ain't worried about nothing because it wasn't found on me. And next thing I know, they start to break it to us like, either it's one of y'all's to claim or y'all gonna let us know whose it is. And I'm starting to think as it's setting in, I'm like, y'all can't do fingerprints or nothing?
I feel you. Yeah.
Why the cop like, what you think this is, CSI? I'm like, yo, it started getting realer. Like, and next thing I know, I'm walking out in handcuffs.
Wow.
Just enough time with my aunt and my cousin pulling up to see me getting in this car. You feel me? And that was like a major awakening for one, to see how these cops is really out here still hunting us. Meanwhile, we going into this Obama era post-racial society. You feel me? And yeah, that was a major awakening. Like to see, so this is the other part I left out. When the cops found the weed, the first expression was, "Dang, this only a half ounce." Like I literally see them expressing, "Damn, this ain't even enough to really bury their ass with." You feel me? And all of that stuck with me, you feel me?
Right.
And as I just transitioned into my future, there was another situation where we were followed by some cops on a late night, and it was technically it was a legal search, but we did give them the green light and thought we was good, but they found like a little crumb. And mind you, this for a speeding ticket.
Wow.
So we watching the cops follow us a late night on the way to visit some girls on the late night. And my partner driving, mind you, he got the old school Cadillac, so we was in this profile typical car, you feel me? He watching the cops follow us from one neighborhood, up the street, down the corner, up another street. So he's going the speed limit the whole time. By the time he notified me that the cops following us, I'm looking at the speedometer too.
Wow.
So we watching this until we get to the turning lane to go to the house we're going to. The cops pull us over then. You know, so it's like they were following us, seeing up where we were going. Once they see where we were going, all right, bet, let's go ahead and get them, see what they got going on here.
Wow.
So the cop pulled my boy over. He had his window, license, registration. He don't even say you going 55 into 45. He just say speeding, license and registration. So he looking him up, and next thing I know, 2 other cops pull up. One come to my door on the passenger side asking me questions. Where y'all coming from? Where y'all going? And I'm not even cooperating. I'm really just laughing, not even answering. And it's like, what's funny? I'm like, this. Like, what is this? Like, and it a speeding ticket? Why are you at my window asking me questions? Next thing I know, step out the car. Then my boy, he ended up giving them the rights to search the car, thinking we was clean. And they find that little crumb. And my partner, he was playing football at NC State at the time. And apparently one of the cops knew him and literally expressing, I hope he kind of laughing with it, like, I hope this don't mess you up with football. So I ended up claiming it, you feel me? Because mind you, in that first situation, me, my partner that got caught in the room with it, and the person who room the name was in, all had to share a discharge.
Wow.
So in that second situation, in my mind, it felt like the right thing to do. Like, I'm already staying. Let me protect him in his name. And them 2 situations right there shifted my whole path. And ever since then, I went from having this typical thought of just going out here, get a job, work for somebody, woo woo. I felt like that was snatched from me because I was criminalized. I had this label on me. I wasn't able to just go out and get no job and everything like that. So I began to embrace this criminal identity. And I started out hustling. I still had a moral conscience to an extent, so I wasn't going with so far. But I was hustling some marijuana, you feel me? And I grew up in the church. And some of the church members, it was like, pray on it. I'm like, what you think I've been doing? You feel me? I've been praying. That's all I had to do was talk to God about this. So that ain't really helping, you feel me, necessarily. Like, so the round the way boys, the hood, the thugs, whatever you want to label them as, they provide an opportunity for me to make my own capital. They hit me off with a pack, you feel me, where I could start to make some money for myself. Yeah. And I just embraced that path. And just to fast forward, I ended up getting to a point where I was like working this temp service job. When I was trying to like kind of get back on the good foot, do the right thing, I was working at this temp service, and like I would literally have to be there at 5 a.m. If you get there like 5:01, you probably ain't gonna get no job today, you feel me? So like by the time they open, it's a line already. And mind you, I'm just basic labor. I ain't had no special skills, so you know, I was kind of limited. So sometimes it'll get to 9, 10 a.m. and they like, that's all the jobs for the day. Like I done brought some breakfast. I'm like, damn, I done lost money today. You feel me? And I ended up getting this job with this plumber for the rest of the summer. And then fast forward, I worked with this other guy who was doing lawn care and car detailing. And those jobs showed me like, dang, they doing the same thing I'm doing out here, hustling and risking my life. Wow. They building up a clientele base around a good product or service. And that good product or service is going to speak for itself. It's going to keep them coming back for more. And they're going to tell other people. And your work is going to sell itself. That's right. So I realized like, dang, if I'm a hustler, I can sell anything. Like, I'm not just no drug dealer. I'm just not no weed dealer. Like, I can evolve my hustle. So I started to work with them and build up my own clientele on the side of, you know, cars, detail, and lawns, you feel me? So that's how I started out as an entrepreneur. And now, you know, I just transitioned into figuring out how can I give that knowledge of self that I unlock my mind to free myself to the next generation and to whoever around me is willing and able to receive anything from my walk and my mission and experience.
Hey, that's powerful, man. And knowledge of self, bro, like that's so important because you can't do anything without knowing who you are.
Facts.
Seeing you, man, Malcolm, see it on the shirt.
Facts.
Great Muhammad Ali, Nation of Islam, 19 Keys, man, shout out to him. On the head rap, powerful. How did you start finding out who King was as a man, as a black man?
For sure, that's a great question. So some of these seeds was planted in me at the same time. My mom, she kind of, you know, pushed some of the history towards me. And then when I went to A&T, so another part of this mission was when I went to school, I just, you know, we had these career analysis, character analysis tests in high school. It'll just spit out all these different careers, and I would just look at the salaries, go down to the salary of every one. And apparently the technology field was a great space, you know. Might get an entry, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 entry level job. Technology field is expanding at the time. It's still expanding. So I'm like, yeah, I can get in that lane. I feel like I might be good with the computers. But I had 3 computer classes that first semester.
Hard, probably.
They weren't even hard. It was really tight, easy and simple. But it was like, I'm not about to sit at no computer desk the next 20, 30 years.
All day.
Come on. But then I also had this African American experience class that was teaching me some deeper parts of our history. And mind you, this issue of being arrested, having this criminal label on me, having the lack of vision for myself because I didn't know myself was all playing a part of me being depressed because I didn't see any worth of value in myself. But as I began to see what some of our ancestors contributed to the world and overcame, I'm looking at these problems I got like, damn, they really kind of small compared to the mountains that they had to overcome. And on top of that, the contributions that we've made to the world, I mean, like, damn, if I come from that, then I know that's within me. And I got to figure out what is my personal, unique, divine mission. You feel me? What is my purpose? What is my passion? And what I realized is, mind you, this is the time period where the Illuminati craze was going real heavy, like 09 and whatnot. So I was engulfed in that real heavy, doing all type of research. I was doing a lot of independent research on YouTube and Google and whatnot, watching documentaries and all that. And mind you, at the same time, I'm messing up in school. I'm not giving the proper time and attention to that study.
Yeah.
But I realized like what I need to do is put myself in a position that I can do what I love, you know? So that Great Awakening happened my first semester with an African American experience class and some other. Oh, and I also read the autobiography of Malcolm X too. That was like one of the first books that I chose for myself to read without like having no
teacher
assignment or you feel me? Yeah. And that was a major key to see what he overcame in his time of darkness to find his light again. I realized like, damn, no matter how deep down you go, like his got way darker than mine, you know?
Yeah.
So I know I gotta be able to find the light within my journey. I just began to like study the ancestors, study the greatness I come from, and I realized that part of my mission was to be an educator and spread that information and make sure the youth and the next generations after me get that access to that knowledge itself that unlocked me at 18, 19, 20 at a younger age from the ground up. So they never had to develop this poverty mindset, this slave mentality, this lacking mentality, and we can operate from abundance, you know, operate from that wealth within, that power within. So I just realized, and then that second semester I had a sociology class too. And that was showing me like the social constructs and how some of these systems were set up. And I was just putting the pieces together and seeing how we got where we at and what we may need to do to get back to where we, you know, need to be. So I just realized that once I unlocked my mind and found my power again, that I had to figure out how can I create programs, create institutions, and put the right pieces around the youth coming up so they can have those tools and that knowledge and that power.
That's heavy, bro. I love that. Man, growing up, and shoot, you know, even now seeing shows like Snowfall, Power, I'm like, yo, everybody who sells drugs are dope boys out there, young black geniuses, man. Like, they know how to survive in hard situations. You were in hard situations, being shot at, all that. What skill sets have you learned that you can now apply towards entrepreneurship? Because I'm like, what they're doing is running a Fortune 500 business and trying to survive. So what did you take away from being in the streets, from trying to survive to now running a real legitimate business, man, from top to bottom? How'd that translation happen?
Sure. So, I mean, I'll say like, just like I thought in my mind, it got to a point in a position in my life where my options and opportunities were limited, although they weren't as limited as I accepted for myself. Yeah. And my mentality at the time, these were the limited options I had. I couldn't get no job or do nothing legitimate, and I had to hustle. You feel me? So, mind you, at the same time, it's other people in my community and the communities we come from that have this high level of intellect and ability and different skill sets that are helping them run the corporations that they running, even if they ain't seeing it as a corporation. It's really just a lack of vision in a way, you know. Some of us can only see as far as we have seen.
That's a fact.
You know, so I had the luxury to be able to explore my mind through researching online or traveling or meeting new people from other places and other perspectives that helped me open my mind up. Some of the people that's coming from these mentalities and these conditions, they haven't seen enough to foresee what else they can do. And like particular this one situation, I was just round the way one day and I'm looking at the homies, they running like I don't know what game. They was playing some type of card game, they gambling, and I'm watching how sharp their minds are and how quick they learn. And I mean, I'm talking about 2-3 side bets and main bet, and they not missing a beat. I'm supposed to be smart or whatever, got educated. I had to be like, hold on, slow down. What happened? Now, what we doing over here and over? They was just clicking. And I'm looking at how sharp their minds are and how fast they working for what they apply it to. You know, so ultimately, like I said, sometimes it's a lack of vision and not really seeing beyond what we can see, you know? So I ultimately, like I said, had the luxury and the blessing to have people around me that gave me, you know, some different visions that I could see within myself and different abilities that I had. Like, if I didn't work with those other entrepreneurs, I wouldn't have never seen my ability to transform my entrepreneurship. I would have just been in that same mentality trying to figure out how I can be the smartest hustler to never get caught, you feel me? But, ultimately and then I had a couple incidents where, you know, it was major setbacks. It was a loss here or there or get into certain jams, and I had to come up out of nothing a few times that I realized I'm not afraid to take a risk and have to come back out the mud again. You feel me? Because I realized that I had that ability. Yeah. And the love that I give to the world and how I move, I'ma always be taken care of and be able to have some type of stable ability to bounce back from a bad situation. But that's how I ultimately started to transform my hustle and not be afraid to take a risk on putting my money behind a water brand or behind selling skincare products or behind, you know, bringing a lecturer to the city and hoping that the people want to come out and pay to get this knowledge. You feel me?
Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah. I love that, man. Taking risks. When did you just start like realizing, man, overall, like, okay, in life, man, like you got to take chances. You have to, especially in business.
For sure. Well, initially, like, it's crazy, you feel me? But when I look back at it, like, I keep reverting back to the mentality, you know, the perspectives of certain situations and certain time periods. But another crazy thought is like one of the worst things that can happen sometimes to, you know, whatever you want to label them, a delinquent, outcast youth or somebody that's going against the grain or whatever. Like, if they're already acting up and then once they got a time where they really got to maybe do their first bid or something like that, they eventually got to go to juvenile detention or having to go to prison or something like that. Sometimes you can go experience that and realize that I can withstand that. I'm not afraid to go through that now. Like, the unknown is more scary than going through it and realizing, oh, I can just see this how I need to move if I. So some people, they taking wild risks because they not afraid to go back into that. The couple times I got arrested and went through the process and whatnot, no, I don't want to do it again, but I ain't afraid to, you feel me? So I'm gonna go back out here and take some more risks and put my life on the line. And mind you, I was so down in that depression that I ain't really care if I lived or went to jail or what happened to me. And I just realized that I took some of those things that I developed through certain chapters and polished them up and figure out how to use them to my greater good. So now I don't mind like investing some money into an event and coming to Atlanta and hoping I get my money back. Or I might lose money and all I got out of the trip was making connections, networking with people, building relationships and possibly getting some long-term clientele or a contract in somebody's store or lock in some other distributors. So, I mean, everything is a risk. One of the things I say is like, what's the saying? Like, you're never going to succeed if you never try.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I forgot. It's like an eloquent way to deliver
I think it's one, bro. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah, something like
which
that.
Which is a fact. Like, something you got to try one.
Yeah, fact. Yeah. So what I realized, and I just, wrap this point up with this, like, I grew up as like the quiet, laid back one, you know. And when I evolved and got into college and got into my pathway to independence, I realized that I had to begin to vocalize myself so I can use the resources around me, so I can use. So that first semester, I wasn't communicating enough with classmates, with teachers, or nothing like that. Just trying to do everything myself, and did terrible. I hate to even remember how bad I did in that first semester for real.
Yeah.
But like the second semester, I began to make sure I had some classmates that I could, you know, share information with. Use a book if I ain't want to buy it or had the money to buy the
be
book.
like that, yeah.
You feel me? Or use a book to go make some copies out of. Go pull it up on the teacher. You know, hollering at them in their office hours just to build relationship. And I just realized at a point where it was like I have to vocalize and speak for myself. Like before I even started to learn about the laws of attraction and speaking things into existence, I started to activate those laws, you feel me? And certain thoughts and ideas that I had, I would start to vocalize and tell people, damn, this is the vision that I have. Like, even if it ain't a fully developed vision, this is where I'm at with it. Sometimes people will be over to like, oh, well, think about this. Think about that. Oh, okay, that's something deep. Okay, go connect with this person. Go do the research on this. So if I would have never vocalized that, nobody wouldn't have, them laws of attractions and speaking things into existence, it wouldn't have been over to activate around me. People wouldn't have been over to share the tools or the resources or the information because they ain't know what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, what's on my mind. But as I began to share more, I began to, you know, activate those laws. So I just realized that, like I said, if you go home without trying or shooting your shot, closed mouth don't get fed.
That's right.
But if you know, at least shoot your shot, you got to attempt.
Yep.
So I'd rather get to know than to not have an answer. Look, it's funny because even dealing with like, you know, developing my confidence and hollering at girls and whatnot, it'll be times where whether it be, you know, a fine girl or something like that, or it might be a powerful figure that I'm in the presence of, and I ain't trying to be that one that's all doing too much.
Thirsty,
But then when I leave the presence, I'm like, damn, I might never see them again.
That's right.
What would I have lost if I shot that shot?
That's right.
But now that I didn't, I know I ain't get to connect. You feel me? So I'm like, look, I'd rather get to know than to not know.
That's right.
You feel me?
Yeah, I love that, man. Why water, bro? Like, you stand out. You know, scrolling on social media, you know, everybody sells this, everybody sells that. But seeing y'all, again, live alkaline water. Why water? And not only water, but alkaline water. Why that? And it tastes amazing, too, y'all. It's crazy.
Refreshing.
Yes, sir.
Man, look, so, I mean, it's just been a beautiful journey. Like, I've been asking, you know, they say heavy is the head that wear the crown.
That's a fact.
Be careful what you ask for and all that. I've been asking for a position of leadership and feeling responsible to be a leader in certain ways. And as a leader, and as I study other leaders and nation builders, there's nothing really to focus on until we solidify the basic needs of our people: food, clothing, shelter, safety, and security.
Yes, sir.
Everything else is a plus. Now, mind you, it could be a certain thing that lines up in a way where it's something outside of that may be the business that funds and brings capital to those essential needs.
Right.
But ultimately, what is the focus on our essential needs? And excuse me, me and my brother, we had like these thoughts of getting land. And I mean, because Soul Society started out with the idea of Soul Society, like developing a society centered around doing what we love, following our passion, and getting down to the knowledge of self and that village mentality that we come from. And what I realized is that, what was I talking about? I was talking about, so studying the nation builders and whatnot, we realize that it's our duty. If we talking about building community, building a nation, building family, that we got to secure the basic needs of our people. You feel me? So we had been talking about it, but the corona was like that kick in the ass, like, yo, we ain't got time to play. We don't got no time to waste no time. Like, y'all should have been had this lined up like we've been thinking about and talking about. But now, this might be your last chance. So while we going through the period where all the essential goods being brought off the shelves and everything, and we scrambling, people scrambling for water, mind you, I initially didn't know it was an option to find our own water source. But I began to like reach out to farmers and figure out like, how do we build up a network of farmers? How do we get closer to growing our own food and learning how to grow our own food so we can be intentional about, you know, activating our power to feed ourselves and knowing that we got quality that we feeding ourselves. So I started to ask around, people started to chime in, and I eventually got connected with this particular land. So, you know, a couple people was telling me like, it's a brother who's here, he got his own land, it's a self-sufficient community, they got their own water source. And I was just like, wow, I didn't even know that was an option, you feel me? And we eventually got this invitation to go to the land. So we got to the land. Well, once I tasted the water off the rip, I'm just like,
it's different.
I'm like, I know what I'm about to do with this. I'm about to take this and run with it. But at the same time, I knew that I still had a lot to learn. So I knew it cost a little more than the regular average water that I even myself had been buying. I realized like, all right, let me take a couple months to do my own research so I can articulate the value of this water to the people so they know what they got and why it costs a little more, but why it's worth, you know, and a priceless value on it. Because your health is priceless, you feel me, at the end of the day.
That's right.
But so a couple months went by, I'm going through my little woes with the financials because of the lack of the motion within this pandemic. Everything I was doing was physical before the pandemic. Events, speaking engagements, school programs, selling vendorships, like selling skincare products, clothes, artwork, all of that had got shut down. So a couple months went by, and I'm really like trying to stay legit, and I'm like, I'm about to call some of the homies like what it looked like for real. But I poised myself, took some breaths on a couple different days that I needed to, and I realized like, let me just take my time. So one of the things, I think it was that first, what's it called? The stimulus check. I think it was like $1,200 on the first one. I took half of it, paid up some bills and whatnot, and the other half I bought some stocks. Put like $600-700 up on stocks. And mind you, I'm just learning this at the time. Fast forward, I got to a day, it was like, man, I had like $3 in my pocket, like $4 in my bank account, while not knowing where my next dollar coming from. And I was kind of getting into a worry mentality a little bit, but then I realized like, I ain't got nothing to worry about. I got a roof over my head. I just spent some of my money to get some food. And I'm like, cause I was thinking about, look, I'm about to cash out my whole portfolio.
I feel you.
And next thing I know, that next day, my stock joint went crazy. It skyrocketed, you feel me? I woke up, I'm thinking like, it's a glitch or something. Like my joint was up like 800%, my whole spreadsheet, you feel me? And then I was just learning about stock options. I had some stock options out there at the time. Them joints went from like $100-200 contracts that I was able to flip for like $1,000-1,500. It was just a blessing. So anyway, I ended up taking some of that money, bought some more stocks, bought some more options that I don't know who, for those who know stocks or don't know, like the options is basically betting on the rise or the fall. So that's how I won that first week. So I put it back down for that next week, and I lost about half of what I had won.
Hey, that's how it beat up.
But what happened after that? So I eventually got to a point where I was like, me and my brother, we was establishing our own LLC, and we was going to develop our own water brand and use the source. And I realized, like, I'm telling my brother, like, man, I don't think I got time to wait for all that. Like, I'm about to go ahead and jump off with the water, that live alkaline water, as is, ready to go. So I ended up having, just enough money. Matter of fact, it was some outstanding debts that I had to I need something.
Yeah.
And that gave me enough money to get through a couple more weeks, get some gas money to go out to the land.
Wow.
And I'm in such a mentality that I'm spending some of my last money I got to go to the land, to work for free. They had 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 gallon orders. And I just went out there to contribute however I could. I ain't asked what I'm getting, how much you paying me, what I'm getting. No, I just went out there to contribute and be of value and build relationship. I did that 2 days that week. Next thing I know, they gave me 20 free gallons just to run with. And I'm thinking I got something at the time. So I'm on the way home with these 20 gallons, not knowing what I'm going to do, how I'm going to sell it. And thank God, they had a couple clips online where it was one news coverage saying it was the first black-owned water company to get into a Walmart. Wow. That was big. And then there was another one talking about being an essential product during the pandemic.
Wow.
So I took those 2 clips, posted them. The rest was history. Them 20 gallons was sold in an hour. By the time I got back to the land, I'm like, however much I can fit in this car, I need, because it's clicking. Got 80 gallons in there. That was sold in 3 days.
Wow.
Got 80 more, same thing. And next thing I know, the rest was history. So, I mean, it basically chose us. So I was just blessed and honored to be, ready when the opportunity presented itself.
That's right.
And willing to sit down and prepare myself to get ready for the bigger things to come, So, yeah, I just received the blessing that God aligned for us. And, figure out how can I do my part to make my contribution to developing this greater vision and getting this resource to the people.
Man, I felt that, bro. Right now, man, seriously, it's young entrepreneurs and creatives that's going through it, because folks, they truly just don't grasp that being young, trying to start it on your own, it's not easy, man. It's not easy. You go through ebbs and flows. You're trying to finance everything yourself. You're trying to stay level-headed. You're trying to do things the right way. Bro, so for all the other young kings out there who's just like you, King, that's just trying to make it right now, they're trying to start their own business, and they may only have $3 in their pocket right now. What words of advice and also encouragement do you have for them?
For sure. Well, I'm going to tell my Instagram
Please.
audience,
Yeah, please do.
Y'all come tap in with the 3 Milli podcast. Full episode is coming.
Love.
Y'all got to come see the real thing when it's ready.
Yes,
so
sir.
that was just a sneak peek for y'all. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, what advice do I have for the young kings and queens that's trying to figure it out, make something out of nothing? Well, for one, definitely, like I said, don't be afraid to take a risk. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to use the resources and the loved ones, the community around you, or whatever you may be able to lean and depend on, Don't be afraid to sit still and be quiet and wait for them answers to find you. Because a part of, what I had going on during the pandemic is, for one, I had to quiet my mind and get out this worry mentality, and had to realize that I can't be stopped. You feel me? Every day I wake up is a blessing. It's another chance and opportunity. You feel me? So it's when you really looking at the dark side and focusing on the darkness, it's hard to see the light. But if you focus on seeking out that light within that darkness and having that mentality, and even embracing that dark period for a second, figuring out how did you get here? Why are you here? What could you do better in the future? What's the next best opportunity? And sometimes you don't have them answers immediately. Sometimes you got to go through, like I said, I went through some time, a month or a couple months or so during the pandemic, not knowing, and I didn't I had maybe some moments, but for the most part, I didn't beat myself up with, oh my God, this the end. But I did that to myself at previous chapters. When I was going through that depression, I felt like this the end. There's no way out. It won't get no better from here. And that's the results I got until I transformed my mind into, there is answers. I'm not going to accept these conditions. I am going to figure out what's my value and live in that, So ultimately, I had to quiet my mind, stop worrying, instead of just if it got to a period where I'm like, I just don't know, I don't have the answer. What am I about to do financially? How am I about to make money? If like I'll go through the period and those train of thoughts, and then I might just go watch a podcast, go read a book, go on the nature trail, go on the walk. Like, let me just put that down for a second.
Yeah.
Let me embrace the fact that I know I'm in a stable position, got a roof over my head, and I'm going to figure out a way to make this happen and put some food on the table. And yeah, never failed. You know, every time it felt like it was like, man, this is a tough one, we still here. Excuse me. What it's another saying, it's like, we survived 100% of our worst days.
Yes, sir.
If you here today,
you already
that
made it
means
through.
whatever you went through before, you a survivor of. You feel me?
Yeah.
And now what you got to do is realize that you are a survivor and just figure out what's the next best move. So I tell people, look, we building an empire one day at a time, one brick at a time. You know, we're not trying to overwhelm ourselves with how, oh my God, it's so much to do. It's so much what do we need to get done this week? What do we need to get done today? We're not thinking about, we developing 100-year plans. But what do we need to get done today? Let's focus on checking this next box off without counting ourselves out, because we see it's such an overwhelming thing coming down the pipeline. Nah, just embrace each day and just keep, taking one step at a time. It's definitely easier said than done. Everybody got their own divine path, their own unique individual path. But at the end of the day, just realize, like, you a survivor, you come from greatness, and you just got to figure out what's your greatness that you here to contribute.
I'm with it, bro. I love it, man. During this time, bro, everybody's drinking alkaline water now. You know, it's a fad, but seeing y'all aren't a fad. Like, y'all really boots to the ground, straight from the source. What benefits, man, can we get from drinking alkaline water? And not just alkaline water that you find at the stores from like major brands, but from live alkaline water
for
from
sure.
S.O.U.L Society.
For sure. It's different.
Yeah,
this the real thing. You feel me? They call it live because it's living.
Oh, I love it.
Look, so it's even bigger than it being alkaline water. I'm realizing the more important thing is that it's water coming from a living source. You want to put life in your body. Just like live foods is great for you because it's going to give you live substance, live nutrients, live minerals. You want that same thing from the water. So as far as alkaline waters go, a lot of these mainstream waters, I mean, it's not even hidden. You can read it off the bottles. Like, it's basically tap water, municipal water, that they running through a process. And sometimes they'll say, like, added minerals for taste, added minerals that are not nutritiously valued. You feel me? So ultimately, if it's added minerals, that's some type of synthetic, artificial process. What's better than God's very own natural process?
That's right.
With living minerals, you know? So, like I said, there's a lot of waters that they technically pass as alkaline, but they really not that living electric water, you know? And then there's a lot of waters that go through so much of a chemical, mechanical induced process that it could be stripped down so much that it's literally just liquid instead of having actual substance, actual nutrition in it. This live alkaline water, it's got 108 natural trace minerals in it. It's from a rich crystal mineral based land, no chemical, mechanical induced processing. It's a black indigenous family owned farm that's sitting on a water aquifer. So this is like a natural water spring that's flowing through this mineral rock bed. It's like 4 major river veins that's feeding this water aquifer. It's just an abundant, powerful source. And like I said, you want to get something from a living source to bring life to your body. You know,
I love that, man. Being on the land, working there, how was that whole experience?
Man, that's a whole nother thing, because like I feel like, so one of the major things I got when I was going through my awakening, going through my transition, I was at A&T going into my adulthood and everything. I realized that the education process was such a major key. So like we have to be, I feel like we do got to do some reading and lecture learning, but we should be doing way more practical applicational learning. So I'm really saying that to say I'm in my student bag. I'm in my master's student bag.
Yeah.
I'm going head first in community building as a nation builder, as a community builder. I'm aligning myself with studying the blueprints of nation builders that came before me and working with people that are building up their own communities, their own nations, manning their own land. So the chief that's running this land, I'm just sitting down at his feet to figure out what are some of the things I can learn. Like, I may go out to, now mind you, I'm transitioning to get my own space on the land and be there. But as of right now, I'm back and forth between the city and the land. And I might go out there and pitch a tent for 2-3 days and really like throw myself head first into the inner workings of a full day of operating our community. Like, what does it look like when we waking up? What's some of the first things we need to get done? Like, how do we maximize the day? How do we pull in other people of the community to contribute to what needs to get done? And some of the stuff, like, you gotta add, like, it's master teachers, it's people with great wisdom and experience that you can learn from, but sometimes they need a specific question in order to give you a specific answer a specific teaching. And sometimes on the land, you just gotta be in a specific situation that you gotta figure out. Like, I broke one of the pipes that's running the water into one of the buildings one day. I had to call Chief, like, yo, what I need to do. So he had to come out and show me what to do, how to repair it, how to reseal a new pipeline into it. So it's just certain things like that where I'm just like, I'm here to learn and figure out how can I alleviate some of your responsibilities and be able to usher in the next generation to learn what needs to be done to maximize this space and this existence. So yeah, I'm head first. What we need? Oh, okay, we doing the farming today. We growing the food. What do I need to do? Oh, go grab the tiller machine. Bet. How do I work it? Now it might be something he see me doing the machine in a certain way where like, yo, he gonna tell me the technique. Do this a little better or loosen up on that. And sometimes I might be doing my thing where I'm like, I'm running into a little issue. Tell me what I need to do to work this out. So, I mean, he just been giving us opportunity, putting the tools in our hand, putting the responsibilities in our hand, and telling us going out to go do it, you know. And I've been, blessed and embracing that opportunity and that responsibility to be able to learn and activate more abilities that I know I didn't know I had, you know. So, yeah, we just head first, nation building time.
Yes, sir. Nation building, man, I love seeing that, whether, it's the Nation of Islam, just seeing how they implemented so many phenomenal things. Marcus Garvey, of course, before that.
For sure.
Bro, seeing you now, man, seeing you farming, what inspired you, bro, to just help us, man, when it comes to farming? Like, how important is farming, growing our food, having our own water source? How important is that during this time?
Man, that's everything. That's everything. Hold on one second.
Good.
But yeah, farming, growing our own food, I mean, that's essential. Like I said, if we not, providing our own, we not providing our own resources and developing our own path to independence. If we not able to depend on ourselves, then we're not independent. Simple as that. You feel me?
Yeah.
And sometimes we throw around like these, flowery names and sayings and talk about things like getting free and getting independent. But when it come down to doing the work, sometimes people fade to black. Sometimes people don't get to the work. They talk themselves out of doing the work. Then we've seen some people come out, see some of the work that it takes, and next thing I know, we don't see them no more. They might come out and do some farming one day, but this is a weekly, a few times a week type of thing. So like, we appreciate that one day of help, but like, nah, it's real out here. Like, what are we going to commit ourselves to maximize our existence?
Man.
Or are we going to continue to lean and depend on other people to feed us and hope that they giving us quality? Nah, we got to take that control and know that we producing quality for ourselves. So, I mean, that's everything. If we're not feeding ourselves and securing our own water source, then whoever is providing the food for us can literally tell us, hey, bend over real quick. Oh, yeah, I got some food for you. I see you starving. I can feed you. I just need you to, kiss the ring real quick. That's all. I just need you to bend down, kiss the feet. You feel me? No, we about to do what we got to do to put ourselves, our family, our community on our back to create, whatever amount of resources we can, So I just feel like that's like, sometimes I feel like we make it more complicated than it is, really.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, it ain't easy.
Yeah.
But it ain't super complicated. A lot of these answers are simple. A lot of the answers, was it on Blacker the Berry, the Sweeter the Juice, the Kendrick Lamar joint?
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey got all the answers. You feel me?
Yeah.
Man, we got blueprints. We got Marcus Garvey. We got Booker T. Washington.
Yeah.
That's really showing you how to develop a mentality, develop a practical education, get into a skill set, figure out how do you develop your land and make it pay for itself, and develop a corporation that's going to be able to provide the capital to build your community. Man, we got Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam. We got some of the other ancestors of Kemet and beyond.
Yep, that's a fact.
I mean, we got a list of nation builders and community builders to learn from. We got Black Wall Streets, you feel me? I mean, we got the answers, I feel like. Now, what are we willing to do to activate those answers and activate those blueprints? That's the real question, So me personally, I know that I can only control myself. I only got the power within me to control myself. If it's something that inspires somebody to join me in my journey, let's go, let's get it. But ultimately, only thing I can do is look at myself for what am I responsible for? What can I do? Now I'll ask people around what can they contribute if it's something I want, to get some more hands on deck. But at the end of the day, if it's just me out there tilling that land by myself, if it's me just out there bottling up and labeling 1,000 bottles by myself, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get the job done, So ultimately, like I said, it's everything. There's no excuse. There's no great excuse to say why we won't put ourselves in a position to grow our own food and feed ourselves and check off one box at a time to make sure we got food, clothing, shelter, safety, and security that we producing for ourselves.
Man, that's that cloth talk, y'all. King, one of my last few questions, brother. How does it feel, bro, dropping off gallons now? Not dope, but gallons now.
Facts.
Like pushing gallons.
No,
how does
facts.
that feel, bro, dropping off bottles and people saying, yo, this water is phenomenal?
Right.
How's that?
Man, I mean, it's priceless, really. Like I said, to go from hustling to go from, riding around and being nervous and having to drive in the rear view mirror and watch your back all the time, watch out for the snakes and people trying to take advantage of you in this black market. I mean, there's still snake business and energy in every realm and every business, but to not have to watch my back and be nervous because I'm driving with pounds and all that is priceless. I'm talking to some of the old homies that know where I come from, and I'm telling you, it's a different type time I'm on. Like, no sweat. I'm driving down the road, no worry. I wish if a cop pulled me over, hey, bet, you want some water? I ain't got nothing but that water pack on me, you feel me? So, I mean, that's priceless. Like, to be able to, it was a couple times where, I'm in the culture, I'm of hip hop and all that. So I, was riding around my city one weekend and I was racking up this weekend, you know? So I did a video where I was hitting one of my homies with the money phone, like, yo, I'm telling you, it's up, you feel me?
Wow.
He like, yo, what, all the water? Bro, all this off water money, for real, like.
Wow.
So I mean, to be able to be an example that they can see, like, damn, he came from this, and now he like full time. Like, you really like sell water full time? Like, you paying? Yes, I'm making a living selling water. I'm paying my bills, feeding myself off water. You feel me? So, I mean, it's just been a blessing to be able to show and prove myself and others, you know, my family, my loved ones, just youngins watching, and to be able to see, like, dang, they seen me come from this little car full of water to the truck, to the cargo van, to box truck pulling through. And they able to, like, damn, like, maybe we need to pay a little more attention to what he got going on. So, I mean, I just been a blessing to be able to show and prove and, you know, give a different image to our ability to develop our own path for entrepreneurship and controlling our destiny.
Man, that's phenomenal, bro. Last question. Where do you see King within the next 5 to 10 years, bro?
Man, that's a tough one. I definitely know I'm heavy in my community development bag, so it's several hundred acres that we are developing. I just see in 5-10 years we gonna really be at a high level of operating. Maybe not on a large number, because it's quality over quantity to me. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a strong, solidified core base of us that's operating on this land, circulating our money intentionally. We gonna be growing big food to a point we can give a lot and sell a lot. The educational system and program is gonna be thriving. It's definitely gonna be a big trade school type thing going on, learning about building up your own home from scratch, electrician, piping, plumbing, mechanic stuff, definitely some type of engineering and all that. Agriculture, of course, we heavy on the agriculture and culinary arts, nutritional, you know, paths, all of that. We really gonna be cultivating a space that's pumping out the minds and the jobs, the creators, the careers for the ones that's gonna be able to further develop this community.
Man, King, I'm telling you, brother, keep doing what you're doing is needed. Where can everybody follow you, keep up with your work, all that good stuff as well?
For sure. So, yeah, I mean, you know, can't stop, won't stop. You know, every day I wake up, the only option is to succeed and take another step forward. So, yeah, definitely follow us at Soul Society NC.
Yes, sir.
Soul Society NC on Facebook and Instagram. Then you got Live Alkaline NC on Facebook and Instagram. Then you can go on our website to see some of the music, documentary. What else? We got the clothes and the water at heavyenergyuniversity.com. So yeah, those are everywhere you can find us. Tap in with us. Man. Oh yeah, and check out the YouTube page at Soul Society NC.
Gotta tap in with the content. We got some
powerful interviews and engagements, lectures. Brother, you know, Baba Kaba up there. We got KRS-One up there.
Legends.
And some more people. So yeah, tap in.
Man, please do. King, I'm telling you, bro, keep going. It's just the beginning for you, bro.
Absolutely.
Y'all just getting started. Make sure to follow him, man. He's doing amazing work. Shout out to the whole team. Shout out to Aaron, Sid, Devin. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Just getting started. Follow them at Soul Society, Live Alkaline Water. See y'all soon. Peace. Cool. King, appreciate you, man. Hey, I had a great time, man. Man, even better, bro.
That was even better.
Yes, sir. It's all about divine timing, though, so we good.